Welcome to a Healthy Push podcast. I'm Shannon Jackson, former anxiety sufferer turned adventure mom and anxiety recovery coach. I struggled with anxiety, panic disorder, and agoraphobia for 15 years. And now I help people to push past the stuff that I used to struggle with. Each week, I'll be sharing real and honest conversations along with actionable and practical steps that you can take to help you push past your anxious thoughts, the symptoms, panic, and fears. Welcome. You're right where you're meant to be. All right, today on the podcast is a conversation that I've been wanting to have for quite some time, and I think it's going to be incredibly illuminating and just eye-opening and really helpful for a lot of you. So I'm very happy to have Louise here with me, and I'm going to have her introduce herself, but we are going to talk about being a highly sensitive person and what that means and what it looks like and the challenges and how to navigate it in different ways to make your life a bit easier. So, Louise, welcome to a Healthy Push podcast.
Thank you. So happy to be
Yeah.
here.
Hey, I'm so happy to have you. So let's just start. Tell us a little bit about you. Like, who are you? What do you do?
I think this is the hardest question. You can ask me anything, but this is always the hardest.
Talk about me. No, thank you. Yeah, I know.
No, but as of right now, I'm on maternity leave. My son is like, I think 1 year and 3 months. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. How old is he? Where am I? Who am
Yeah,
I?
exactly. I don't know my age, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm on maternity leave and I'm home with him, really liking it, but still super challenging, especially as a HSP, highly sensitive person.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm a highly sensitive coach, and I'm a graphic designer and PR consultant and social media manager.
Oh my
Like a lot
goodness.
of different things, but
Yeah.
I do that for full time, like PR consultant and graphic designer, and that's where I'm on maternity leave from. And then I do coaching on the side.
Very cool. I mean, when I came across your Instagram, I was like, dang, I need to have her on and we need to have this
Aw.
conversation because so much of what you share is like, yes, this is stuff that I didn't know about myself for so long and it made things so tricky.
Yeah.
So let's just start with your journey to figuring out that you're a highly sensitive person. Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, it's like a really long journey because I think I realized I was highly sensitive back in 2013, when I got, like, I don't know how you say it, burned out. Yeah, is that how you
Yep,
say it?
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
But obviously, I've been highly sensitive my whole life because it's a personality trait and you're born with it. So, but I didn't know that. So it's been like a long and slow ride until burnout. And then, like, I just crashed. So I was home, had a lot of time to think, and realized that in my whole life has been that I was picking up everyone else's emotions and feelings and stuff like that. And I was like, why do I do that? And I Googled something, like, why do I feel so much in panic? And then I stumbled upon Elaine and Aaron, who is a clinical psychologist and researcher, her questionnaire. So it's like, I think 27 questions, and I ticked like 25 out of 27.
Yeah, wow.
Very highly sensitive. So
Yeah.
I used to say that I'm pretty thankful for my burnout because I wouldn't be where I am today without it. But it's not that it was like a fun thing, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still grateful for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking right before I hit play, and it's something that I too didn't discover until I was in my mid 20s.
Mm.
And it was it like hit me so hard because I was like, this is why. Like, this is
Yeah.
why
Why
I've
haven't
had
anyone
so
told me
many.
this before?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how haven't I known this? And similar to you, I pick up on a lot of people's thoughts and emotions and vibes, and I take it on and I make them all my responsibility. But
Mm.
too, for me, a big part of it was I struggled with anxiety for a long time. And I didn't understand sort of how being a highly sensitive person played into that and made things even trickier for me. And and I think a lot of people who are listening to this podcast are probably also a highly sensitive person, and it definitely makes things even more tricky when you're
Mm,
struggling with anxiety. So, can you just walk us through, like, what the heck does it actually mean to be a highly sensitive person?
yeah. I used to say, like I say a lot that I have, as a highly sensitive person, I have my sensory antennas a bit further out than non-highly
Ooh,
sensitive people. um, but basically, according to Dr. Elaine and Aaron's research, um, is that we are more we process information more deeply than non-highly sensitive people. Um, so we are affected. Our environment affects us differently than others. So noise, lights, fabric on clothes, like everything you experience daily in your life affects you deeply, more deeply than for non-HSPs. So, yeah, going to the grocery store while there's a lot of people and they are stressed and there are kids running around and people are, uh, yeah, just annoyed with each other. That's not a good place to be as a highly sensitive person.
yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
that's,
hard, and I think a lot of people, especially in my community, right, they're struggling with anxiety and they'll attribute everything to anxiety. "Oh,
mm,
it's just I'm just anxious. I'm just an anxious person. Like, this is why this is so hard for me." But I think that this is a piece that is missing from a lot of people's journeys is understanding that they might hold this characteristic of
yeah,
being a highly sensitive person. But
exactly.
it does, it like you say, I know so many people are going to resonate with the grocery store, and we have some big old grocery stores in the States, and the lights, the fluorescent lights and the sounds and just being in the crowds, it's so overwhelming and stimulating.
Yeah, I love the blasting music in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite. It's like, do we really need this? Do we need this? When we go into
No.
restaurants, I tell my husband, I'm like, nope, I can't do this. I will literally go in sometimes and sit at a table and, they'll bring water. And I'm like, I can't do this.
I know.
Why are you playing music this loudly? And why is it so dark? Like, this doesn't make any
I
sense.
don't wanna yell when I'm at a restaurant either. Like,
Right.
it's so yeah, I hear you. It's super annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think what you said, right? Having the way you said it was so good. Can you say it again? Like having your antennas, what did
Yeah.
you say?
Sensory antenna is a bit further out.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh my gosh. When you said that, I was like, yes.
yeah,
I think that makes things incredibly hard, right? And it's like, I'm glad you gave those examples because I know people will resonate with that. But also, that other aspect of taking on a lot of people's emotions and feelings. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because, like, what does that look like?
like, for me, especially at work, it's
Mm,
super challenging because, working in PR and, like, marketing overall, I think is a bit stressful and,
mhm,
um we're supposed to like it's supposed to be fast paced and you're supposed to be hungry and all that, and that also comes with a lot of stress and overwhelm, even if you're not highly sensitive. And those energies we pick up on and take on, um, there's ways to like not pick up as much as you can do, but and just take it to heart and make it our own, and that piles up on everything else we're already experiencing and have to process, and makes it super challenging to just like exist. I think sometimes, but
yeah.
sometimes when I walk into work, we have like before we start our day, we have like a little meeting, and I just go into that room and I can tell if someone's depressed or sad or
Mm,
angry or happy, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do with this now? Like trying to just like sort it out, and that also takes up a lot of your
yeah.
energy, just trying to figure out what to do with it, because it's not yours and it's still there and you need to like figure out, yeah, where to put it, so to speak. I don't know. um but sometimes if I know the person, if I can tell like, okay, um this colleague is sad, I sometimes like not confront, but like talk about it, but mostly not because you have to pick your battles. But you want to, but it's not always your thing to do. But for me, it's mostly
Yeah.
like work related, I think, because then it's like so much more stress stuff involved in it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I've had similar situations in workplace environments, and even just in my day-to-day, I feel like even being around friends and different people, you can very much sense things, and then
mm,
I go into this like, "Oh gosh, this is uncomfortable, and how do I navigate this?" And I'm usually like, "Just get me out."
yeah.
But I'm curious, something I noticed from a very young age that I can now see very clearly was I always felt a lot, like sadness, anger, feeling anxious,
Mm,
like all these very normal emotions, right? It felt like I would feel them 10 times more than the quote normal person. Like I would just feel very consumed by them, and it made things really, really hard. And I think as I got older, right, I sort of had these stories about myself of who I've always been, and like that there is something wrong with me because I couldn't just navigate things, maybe more carefree and more easy than other people. Did you have similar experiences with, like, emotions as a kid and, maybe going into your teenage years? I'm just curious.
yeah, I've always felt like I was the one who was I cared much more than anyone else. Like I was always the one who was like, but how can you not react to this?
Yeah.
Like, why am I the only one? It's not that I'm a better person because I care more deeply. It's just that, like, how
Yep.
it's impossible to not know this. Like, can you not see this? This is
Yeah.
happening. How can you not see it? Like, so I was always like confused of how my friends would just go on with their day if we saw something like happening. Maybe there was a crash, like, on the way to school or something, and I was, like,
Yeah.
fully consumed with that all day,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Okay, what happened to was there a kid in the car? Was there a mom? Okay, the mom
Mm.
probably has, like, her parents," and, like, you go into the whole like, just escalates in your brain, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they're probably fine. The ambulance was there." And I was like, "Okay, but" and then you just, like, dig deep, and you get yeah.
Yeah.
So I was yeah,
Yeah.
I've always been, like, more
Yeah,
consumed with
it's
all
like
that.
in tune. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the way I sort of have been able to see it and now explain it is like I've just been always very in tune
Hmm.
with my body and my emotions, and it used to be really hard for me because I didn't have the tools. I didn't even know what the heck was going on. So it wasn't like that I could use any sort of tools to navigate it. So having the understanding now has helped incredibly. But I look back at all those years and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it didn't have to be so hard.
I know, but also, like, when I was a kid, I remember my dad got a job. He works at Volvo. He got a job in Amsterdam, and I remember I was so sad. Like, I was so I don't
Mm,
know, probably because I was not like I don't like change because it was, like,
yeah,
too much yeah. Things that I didn't know. But I remember that so strongly. I hid under my bed for like a whole day and just cried because I didn't want to
yeah,
move because I felt like I was going to be alone. I have no friends and like overthinking and all that. So yeah, ever since I was a
yeah,
kid, it's been like that. And like noticed all the details and stuff. Yeah, I knew where everyone's
yeah,
socks were at preschool if they were gone, like things like that.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's been
You do. You pick up on much more detail, I think,
yeah.
than the average person. So I'm curious, would you say that highly sensitive people are more prone to anxiety?
I think we can be, like, due to all the information we process, and that kind of adds on to it. But it's not a guarantee uh,
Yeah,
that if you're a highly sensitive person, that you will experience anxiety. But I think we are more prone to it because we have so much more to process, and we feel more deeply and think
yeah,
more like than not think more, that's sounds weird, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think we are, but it's not, as I said, a
Yeah.
guarantee that we are either. But
And I know it's hard because we don't always see some of these things that bring more challenges to our lives as being good. We typically just see them as being bad. Like, this is, I don't want to be this way. It sucks that I'm this way. It sucks that I, feel so much. I'm curious. I know for myself, of course, but I would love to hear you share, like, what are some positives of being a highly sensitive person? Because I think there are so many. Like, it is a gift, although it's also challenging at the same time.
yeah, I know. I agree. But I think I always say that empathy, I think,
Mm,
because it allows us to connect and understand our, like, every relation we're in, we can use our empathy. And it will also lead to strong and like meaningful relations. And yeah, I think an understanding of others' perspectives. Um, so that's like my favorite thing. Because I value like someone who listens for real. I'm making quotes here, in a relationship, and that are not like listening while thinking what they're gonna answer or like ask next. Like you have to be present, and I
yeah.
think that's um, something that HSPs are really good at.
Yeah. I think something that's really cool that I overlooked for a very long time, like, I always saw myself as being an empathetic person, and it's always sort of just been very natural for me, but something that when I learned this about myself, being a highly sensitive person, I was like, "Oh, cool. I'm highly empathetic to everyone,
Yeah.
but just not myself." And what if I used some of this, right, to be more empathetic to myself
Mm,
and really used it to cultivate a healthier relationship with myself? And that has been so incredibly helpful for me to change that. To It doesn't need to just be an outward thing. Like,
right.
I don't need to just be empathetic to everyone and all things around me, but when I am also that internally, that changed so much for me.
Because often forget to take care of ourselves because we prioritize everyone else, and everyone else has to feel good. And yeah, I completely agree
Yeah.
with you. It's a really good thing.
Yeah,
Mm,
it is such a good thing, and what you said, right, having meaningful relationships, like, all these things, they're so, so good. I'm curious, I know there are a lot of misconceptions about being a
mm.
highly sensitive person. Can you talk through some of those?
Yeah, the big one I think everyone probably has experienced is that it's a weakness.
Mm,
Um, of course, it comes with both like challenges and strengths, but just that just because that we experience things differently and are more like in tune with our feelings and emotions doesn't make it as weak. um
right.
it's just, yeah, you often hear like, don't be so sensitive, can't you just take a joke, and like it's all those negative,
Ugh,
um I was almost gonna say a bad word, but no, but it's all that, I don't know, it's bullshit. Can I say that? I said it now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. You said it, and
Uh,
it's okay.
yeah. um, it's not a weakness. It's a like sensitive is a word that I think is just charged with negativity.
Yeah.
Like, and it's okay to just throw it everywhere in all negative situations. And we have to like, I think we have to take our power back, like take the word back.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, and I think I, of course, heard that as a kid,
Mm,
like, "You're so sensitive," and even now, I mean, people listen to
yeah.
my podcast, and they're probably thinking, "Yeah, Shannon, I know you're a highly sensitive person because I cry, like, on a dime," and I'm a very emotional person, but I used to see it as being something that wasn't good,
Yeah.
and now being able to really feel like it is a really good thing and it is a really powerful thing that I'm sensitive and I'm okay with it, and it allows me to be who I am and to give to other people the way that I can and to myself. And I think this was the part for me that was really helpful was when I could start seeing, like, yes, I am more sensitive to my emotions. I am more sensitive to my feelings and what's going on in my body, but it doesn't mean I need to create a story about it. It doesn't mean I need to say, "Oh gosh, you're feeling this and this is problematic and we need to do something about it." And just allowing myself to say, "Yeah, you feel a lot and that's okay."
Yeah.
And like, this is how you're feeling right now and we're going to give you the space to actually feel it and not create stories and beat yourself up about it.
No. No, I know. We do that. We have done that for such a long time, I think. So
Yeah.
it's time to change that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, of course, people trying to navigate this, especially if they're like putting the pieces together and thinking, oh my gosh,
Mm,
this, maybe I am a highly sensitive person, and they can very easily recognize it or have known that they're a highly sensitive person, but they're like, going to the grocery store is hard, like hanging out with people, like making friends, going to work, like everything is hard.
mm.
Are there things that we can do to make life a little bit easier being a highly sensitive person?
Yeah, there are, but I think like the biggest thing to do is to just get to know the trait. Like get to know the trait and get to know yourself. So you know what you need in times when it's a little bit more overwhelming and challenging. But I want to say also to like just really make room for recharge, like recharge time. Because if we don't do that, and we do need more time, like quiet time than other people, you're definitely gonna be overwhelmed. It's just a matter of time. So you have to, it doesn't matter if you do whatever suits you. It could be 1 hour or like 5 minutes, 1 minute here or there, whatever works for you, but as long as you do it. And it could be, I always say, tell the example of, for me, it's like walking in the forest or by the ocean just by myself, or listen to my favorite song. But my friend, he loves go-karting. So that fills his like batteries up. So it doesn't have to be these typical things of like mindfulness or yoga or breath work. That's like trendy now. It's just whatever works for you that makes you feel like a bit more calm and at ease and refilled with the right type of energy.
Yeah. That's so good. I'm glad that you said that, because that's not everyone's go-to, right? I
Mm.
think we always think it has to be like recharge needs to be moments of zen.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
like for some people actually, and for some highly sensitive people, they actually do. This is a tricky part for me. They do actually like the stimulation. I
Yeah,
do like a lot of forms of stimulation. Like, I like to do adventurous and crazy things, but it can also, so recharging for me can also look like doing some of those things
yeah.
that some people might be like, "What the heck are you doing that for?"
You're not highly sensitive.
Right, right. Yeah, but going in nature,
Yeah,
hiking, like exercise, I mean, it's just so important. I think we love to overlook those simple basic things and just be like, "That's not going to be helpful," but I know when I make time for that stuff every day, I have much more capacity, and especially being a mom,
yeah,
I have much more capacity because, I'm sure you've experienced this, right? You become a parent, and now you're not just taking on everyone's emotions around you and people you don't even know. It's somebody that you are like so attached to and
right.
somebody that you care so deeply about. And my gosh, I mean, I take on my daughter's emotions like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so I know for myself, like, I need those moments where I recharge and take care of myself, because otherwise, oh my gosh, it's so hard for me
Like you
being a
have no
parent.
patience if you don't do that. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna, yeah,
Yeah,
your
and
head.
you can feel it, you know it, and I will even say sometimes to my daughter, like, "I am so sorry. Mama should have taken a break. I
Mm,
should have walked away, and I didn't, and that's why I got a little bit frustrated or a little bit upset." And it is tricky to navigate, and I think we tell ourselves those stories, right, of, "It's not really gonna be that helpful," or, I don't
mm,
have time to do that," and I cringe right at those moments where I see the way I've acted, and I know it's because I didn't take time for myself, and I'm like, "Why? Why
mm.
do you do that?"
I know. But that's when I love, like, I have a little, like, life hacks that I use. So one of them
Ooh.
is like adding a minute to the toilet if you go to the bathroom, like
Yeah.
your bathroom break. That's like the
Yeah.
best scrolling, whatever you want to do for like 2 minutes. If you're at a birthday party, Christmas, Easter, whatever. Like if you're just,
Yep.
yeah, you just need some extra minutes sometimes to your bathroom break.
Yeah.
Um, or like eating lunch alone at work. That's not fully acceptable here in Sweden. I think
Mm.
you like probably think that you're weird if you sit alone. And like I'm like, I've been talking to you all day, work
Right.
things. I don't want to talk to you. Like I love you, but I don't want to talk to you. I want to sit and watch like a TV show,
Yeah.
and just eat my lunch alone, please.
Yeah. Oh, I totally understand that. Yeah, I
Mm,
think it's similar here. You're encouraged, right? And it's hard because we are wired for connection, but it's like being a highly sensitive person, I know I cannot be around people all the
no.
time. And it doesn't feel good for me. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like it does not make me weird that
No.
I like a lot of alone time.
Exactly. But like also noise canceling headphones. My hubby
Mm,
got that a few years back because he works with music. And I when I tried them on, I was like, you're not getting these back. These are mine now. I use them so much. Even if it's just like I could be at home and they're downstairs and I'm still like it's quiet up here, but I just need to like really zone out. Then I use
yeah.
them. Or like
Yeah.
pretend
It's
I'm not, yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wear my headphones even when I'm home by myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I bring my headphones to a lot of places. People probably see it in my videos, and for me, it's just sometimes I'm not even listening to anything.
Nope.
I just have headphones in, and it sort of muffles the noise a little bit for me, which is very pleasant because I'll go, like, work from a coffee shop, but for me, it's, you people are chatting and there's music, and I'm like, "No, no, 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 that's
Nope.
not enjoyable."
I know. I'm going on a train tomorrow and I'll bring his headphones. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask you because we were talking earlier about going to the grocery store and how that can be incredibly overstimulating and overwhelming. Is there anything that you do, like, if you go to a grocery store that you'll do differently to make it a bit easier for you?
I go to the store at the times when I know there's only me and the old people. So
Right.
they're like slow, quiet, and I can just zigzag in between and like go to wherever I go want to go in the store and like yeah, mind my own business.
Yeah.
But that only works when you're on parental leave, I think. But
Yeah, right, when you
um
have that flexibility.
yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I know if I know it's really busy, like on Fridays after work, when everyone's gonna, we have like Taco Fridays, like an official thing in Sweden, and everyone gets to get their tacos in the grocery stores at Fridays. And I'm like, I can go get the ingredients if it's like before 4 in the afternoon. After 4, my hubby's going. So I
Yeah.
just try to like navigate, yeah, by not going or going when there's not that much people. But if I'm there,
Yeah.
I try to, even if it's like AirPods, they're not as good. I just try to have something in my ears that are like keeping the really high noises out.
Oh, yeah, I totally get that, and I mean, Taco Friday sounds amazing.
Love it.
Um, but I think this is a struggle for people who are also struggling, right, with anxiety and panic and these things that are really, really challenging. Because I think at times a lot of people will convince themselves, like, "I have to go to the grocery store, like, I can't avoid," right? And
Mm,
we get a lot of this messaging of, like, you can't avoid your feelings, like, you have to face them. But it's also looking at, like, who am I as a person and what feels good for me and what doesn't, and I don't even me now, like, I'm recovered and I don't struggle with panic and agoraphobia anymore, but I don't wanna go to a grocery store when it's super busy and crowded, and I don't wanna sit in a restaurant like we talked about when the music is blaring and I can't even see, like, this is just part of who I am, right, and my personality, and that's okay.
yeah. Just
Yeah,
you have to do whatever works for you. I think
yeah,
just it's so easy to like tune in and listen to what everyone else thinks and feels and their opinions. I'm still there and I'm working on it, but
yeah, yeah, I think it's lifelong, I'm
yeah,
sure.
exactly. But just try to like I know what I need, and at the end of the day, I'm the one who's gonna like be with myself and how I'm being as a person, and I want to be proud of myself and my behavior. So that's why I'm gonna take care of myself, and I do this in XYZ.
So, something that I don't wanna not ask, because I think this is we sort of talked about it briefly. I'm curious, do you have ways to navigate, like, not picking up on other people's energies? Like, how do you not is there a way to not do that?
I think I know. I wish.
Right.
No, I think we're always going to do that as HSPs, but there are ways to like really taking care of yourself so you're in a good state of mind. I think it's big, one big thing.
Huge.
But
Yep.
also, I try to. I don't know if it just works for me, but I always share it because it might work for someone else as well. But I try to visualize like a shield in front of me that lets in positivity, but the negativity like
Oh,
bumps back. So when I know there's a lot of input and things that I need to process afterwards, like a stressful day at work or grocery store, or if I'm going on the tram when it's a lot of like in a rush, I try to do that. And sometimes when I have like hang out with certain friends that might not hang out with anymore, I should not hang out with them. But I know there will be like negativity or like really a lot of like emotional dumping. Then I try to
yep.
do that waste like an hour before we meet up. I try to just like do some sort of visualization. It's a hard
Yep.
word to pronounce.
Yeah, yeah, you
I
did
do
great.
that, and I like visualize a shield. And like first I feel I I imagine myself like in a place where I feel really happy and calm. And then I walk over to like a beam of white light that, how do you say it? I see it like it goes through my body and like takes away all the negativity and moves it all the way down in the ground. And then I move to
Yeah.
another bright light that's more like gold and shimmery. And that fills me with energy. And then the next one gives me the shield. So I like take away the bad energy, fill up with positive, and then like shut it down and like capsule it into my body. And that always makes me feel more like that I can stand a little bit of negativity and emotional draining things.
Yeah.
And also, I think every day when you wake up, try to, for me, it works to set a number on how you're feeling energy wise. So if I'm at uh, 10 in like good energy, I know that when I come home, if I'm at a like 2 or 0, I know I've been taking on a lot of other people's negative stuff. So just try to like do this energy check-ins. I think it's good to know
Yeah.
if you have been like drawn into other people's negativity or bad energy, and try to let's just refocus, go for a walk, and like listen to your favorite song, mindfulness,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, creating that awareness is
Yeah.
huge. I love that. I love the shields
Yeah.
concept. I'm gonna give that a go.
Yeah.
Uh, so Louise, this has been such a good conversation, and I just love what you share. I love that you're shedding light onto this topic and really helping people understand
Thank you.
what it is to be a highly sensitive person. So, if people want to find you and connect with you, where can they find you?
I'm only at Instagram.
I love it.
Keeping it simple. But
Right?
highly sensitive underscore person on Instagram. So if you have any
Awesome.
questions or just want to say hi, you can always send me a DM.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go check out Louise. Her page is incredibly helpful. And I've just loved this conversation. So thank you again, Louise.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of A Healthy Push. If you want more, head on over to ahealthypush.com for the show notes and lots more tips, tools, and inspiration that will support your recovery. And if you're hoping for me to cover a certain topic, be sure to join my Instagram community at A Healthy Push and let me know in the comments what you want to hear next.